this Citroen C5 Aircross to play with as a hire car over in Mallorca. It was a grand, good-sized car for the family, so we had myself, my wife, my two kids and my mother-in-law with us, so plenty of space in the car. However, this is a car that makes itself feel an awful lot bigger than it actually is on the road. So spaces that you think you'll fit into, you just won't. I mean, it's big and bulky, but without actually being anything more than a 5-seater. It tries to do that usual thing that they can't resist doing these days of ticking the SUV box. Why can't we just have hatchbacks, folks? For God's sake. That being said, it is a very comfortable car. You know, the engine is pokey enough. It's a 1.6 plug-in hybrid. Now, why you would get a plug-in hybrid as a hire car, I do not know. Nobody who hires a car is ever going to plug it in. So this car keeps displaying notifications saying that it hasn't been plugged in the last 1,400 days, which is understandable. It won't be. I wouldn't plug it in either. Why the hell would you bother? The problem is when you don't plug a plug-in hybrid in, you're lugging around a large battery that you don't need to lug around, which makes the car actually quite bad on fuel. So the benefit of a plug-in hybrid is that you plug it in. So yeah, but I have to return this with a full tank of petrol one way or another, so whether or not I've plugged it in is irrelevant. I suppose if I had been able to drive it around on the battery alone for the period of time I hired it, then grand, but I didn't. Now, everything is not rosy with this car. It's smooth, it's quiet, it's fairly refined, it's actually very, very comfortable. It does that Citroen thing of having really comfortable seats and everything. Driving position is good, visibility out the front is fine, out the back, shite, but every modern car is the same. The infotainment system, for fuck's sake, can we please go back to buttons and knobs? The stupid aircon system. We left the airport and hit the road, and the car started fogging up because the aircon was too cold. It actually started icing up the windscreen, and the amount of floating around I had to try and get the aircon to turn down, going through sub-menus and screens coming up and everything like that. I'm driving on the wrong side of the road in a country I'm not that familiar with. I've only driven over here once before. I don't need that hassle. I want to be able to actually look at the road and concentrate on what I'm doing, not prick around with bloody aircon controls and all this sort of stuff. The map controls are exactly the same. Yeah, the sat-nav is okay, but I'm not even going to try and figure out how to turn off the voice commands, and the problem is it turns basically off your music every time it gives you a voice command. Don't touch my tunes, don't! Does my bloody head in. So yeah, I'm listening to music here, and yeah, there it keeps on just turning down the volume, especially if you have a series of roundabouts. Very annoying. Oh, and by the way, the music I'm listening to is The National, The System Only Dreams in Total Darkness. So the line, I can't explain it any other way, just seems appropriate. Yeah, you could probably go through a sub-menu and turn it all off, or turn the voice down, or do something like that. But that's this car all over. Sub-menu after sub-menu. Not even going to try and figure out the cruise control. The short of it all, there is nothing intuitive about this. Absolutely nothing. And it's typical Stellantis behaviour. They just, stop beeping at me. Hold the steering wheel. What the hell do you think I'm doing? It's like I'm hands on the steering wheel. It's beeping me to steer. Oh my God, what a pain in the ass. So yeah, it's trying to take control away from the driver, and no, just don't buy it. And then all it does is when the driver does have to intervene, it just makes it difficult. So you're going into menus when you should be watching the road. You're trying to look for buttons when they should be clear and obvious, and single button. I want to turn off the aircon. I want to press one button to turn off the aircon. I don't want to have to look for buttons that don't have any tactile feel, or a button that just brings me into a sub-menu. No. Grinds my gears something fierce. Stereo sound quality is actually very good. I will give it that much. It seems to have decent speakers in it, and that does count for a lot. I will be honest with you. Appearance-wise, it's nondescript blob number 47. I don't give a shit what it looks like, to be honest with you. I really don't. It's a boring modern car. It really, why you go into a dealership and buy this car, it's not because of the appearance anyway, that's for sure. I mean, why you buy most modern cars is not for the appearance, I would say. But look, it is what it is. It does the job. My backseat passengers said they were all comfortable as well. The aircon works quite nicely too. Once you can figure out the bloody thing, it eats up the motorway quite well. If a little bit willing to creep over the 120 kph mark quite readily. It shifts with a jerk sometimes. Other times it's fine. If you use the kick down, it's revving its nuts off. So it's got an 8-speed gearbox. It doesn't use Toyota are really the very few companies that actually do that whole ECVT thing for hybrids. This has the electric motor coupled with the 8-speed gearbox, and the engine just drives through that. Essentially, it's a 1.6 engine, petrol. It's quiet enough. It's fine. I mean, it pulls along fairly all right, you know. I mean, it's nothing to write home about, but it's not lackluster, but it's not surprising either, if you know what I mean. So would I buy one of these? Well, to be honest with you, the infotainment system and the sub-menus and the screens all over the bloody place, no, I wouldn't. I really wouldn't. It's one of the big things that takes away from modern cars for me. The Japanese seem to have it an awful lot better in that regard, and same with the Koreans. So the likes of your Toyotas and Hyundais and stuff like that as well, they still give you buttons, whereas these just don't. It's a big detractor from the driving experience. But anyway, yeah, look, just said I'd fill you in on this kind of a short road test. I'm just on the motorway back to the airport where I'm going to be returning it, and Palma de Mallorca airport, yeah, the car park is something else. So I'm looking forward to that now, to the first time I collected it. Jesus, it was like a labyrinth. But yeah, something of a ranty road review kind of thing, but yeah, I think it's honest, and yeah, would I buy one? No, unless I was... No, I wouldn't actually, to be honest with you. There are better options out there. But yeah, anyway, thanks for watching, folks. Catch you soon.